fanny pack. Couple hundred in a Louis bag. Couple hundred need a G-Wagon. Big tax on my big spending. Big facts, no pretending. We back on the full set.
Yeah, hey, look what I got. New whip with no top. Cooking up no stove top. Ice cold, no snow drop. Big budget ass, big facts. Big money in the contract. Been running no contact. New record with the new tracks. Yeah, they been sending me new plaques. I don't really need new plaques. Nah, big rock with the suplex. Yeah, new rock got a new flex. Yeah, I'm current, I'm a new trend. Now boys with the full scent. Yeah, like I said, no new friends. We don't really need new friends.
Good thing, yeah, I found that. Young king with my crown at. 10 racks in the fanny pack. Couple hundred in the Louis bag. Couple hundred need a G-Wagon. Big tax on my big spending. Big facts, no pretending. We back on the full sense. That good thing, yeah, I found that. Young king with my crown at. 10 racks in the fanny pack. Couple hundred in the Louis bag. Couple hundred need a G-Wagon. Big tax on my big spending. Big facts, no pretending. We back on the full sense.
Hey, yeah, whoa, yeah, coming at me like that, like whoa, yeah, coming at me like that, like whoa, I don't even feel like that, like whoa, you ain't even see my stacks, like whoa, we up on the sea, but that's my bow, coming at me like that, like whoa, coming at me like that, like whoa, coming at me like that, like whoa, coming at me like that, like wish that I care, but I don't, and I swear if you want, we can flow, coming ready for the smoke, murder she wrote, but I don't even dare, I got places to go, coming ready for the show, sacred the goat, we got royal affairs, we gon' win on the low, coming ready for the glow, you taking notes, have a seat, take a chair, you may think that we cold, coming ready for the snow, try to bear the weight, but it's too heavy, try to get away, but it's too deadly, gotta keep it sharp, so we stay edgy, can I get ahead, so we stay ready, coming at me, that's sad, that's joke, I cannot believe these lies, I'm woke, all that agree, but why you broke, when y'all need, come get your folk. I actually soar over these waves. When I get paid, I gotta know people to pay, places to go. Watch what you say, watch what you coming at me like that, like whoa. I don't even feel like that, like whoa. You ain't even see my stacks, like whoa. We up on the sea, but that's my bow. Coming at me like that, like whoa. Coming at me like that, like whoa. Coming at me like that, like whoa. Coming at me like that, like I don't ever sit back, I'ma go and get that. I just wanna give back, people call me Big Black. I just got my whip back, asked me when I got here, told her that I've been back. Brought a couple wins back, double cup of no act. I don't really have beef, but I'm still a Big Mac. And you know I got green, now we bridging the gap. Flow with me and my team, cause we know how to scrap when you making a scene. Came up from the dirt, yeah I know my worth. No I will not sell, niggas gotta work. Do not kiss and tell, no I do not surf. But I'll ride these waves, so get up off my turf. I actually soar over these waves. When I get paid, I gotta know people to pay, places to go. Watch what you say, watch what you coming at me like that, like whoa. I don't even feel like that, like whoa. You ain't even see my stacks, like whoa. We up on the sea, but that's my bow. Coming at me like that, like whoa. Coming at me like that, like whoa. Coming at me like that, like whoa. Coming at me like that, like Check, 1, 2, ayy, check. I don't know if I can rap this shit. Yeah, ayy, yeah. Look at my wrist, yeah, it's poppin'. Took the whole family shopping. Funny that you always flexing. Just saw your car at the auction. Niggas on IG be stalking. All these girls, too many options. Act like I don't hear you talking. Drop it and they just come flocking. I just don't let they sat it. Then got Gorilla Gang tatted. I went like it's automatic. Passing these niggas is tragic. Wearing all black with no magic. You just got green in your ice. They all stop checking the facts, so I just stopped treating them nice. I see you looking, I see you watching. Wasn't too long ago, we was just talking. I'm sorry you hate me now, and I don't mean that I'm sorry for me. I'm just sorry for you, cause you won't get to see what a hot king can do when he's given the chance to become what he knew he could. Now my shit's popping, oh and I'm shocking. I'm just from Buffalo, I shouldn't make it. Was right by my auntie, but that woman hated me. Good at pretending for everyone faking it. Now I'm awake and I see why they made the choice to kick me out just as soon as I made the choice. Now I'm a king, yeah that's the thing, happens a lot. Fatherless kids, yeah we come by the lot. Changing shit whether you like it or not, he would come like it or not. Look at my wrist, yeah it's popping. Took the whole family shopping. Funny that you always flexing. Just saw your car at the auction. Niggas on IG be stalking. All these girls, too many options. Act like I don't hear you talking. Drop it and they just come flocking. I just don't let they sat in. Then got Gorilla Gang tatted. I went like it's automatic. Passing these niggas is tragic. Wearing all black with no magic. You just got green in your ice. They all stop checking the facts, so I just stopped treating them nice. Fuck the whole industry, music and media. Started my own shit. I don't think they feeling me. I just don't get it, so fuck it. I'm done with all this luck shit. Y'all think y'all scaring me, so I address it. But now all your niggas is running. All of your monsters just running. No talent, but your shit is funded. Now all y'all think y'all real funny. Clown flexing with that fake money. Can't buy shit without real shit, so you rent shit cause you real dummy. Just invest in mine like a broker. New money coming soon. Yo, last post got like 50,000, but you can't fill the fucking room. Look at my wrist, yeah, it's popping. Took the whole family shopping. Funny that you always flexing. Just saw your car at the auction. Niggas on IG be stalking. All these girls, too many options. Act like I don't hear you talking. Drop it and they just come flocking. I just don't let this at it. Then got Gorilla Gang tatted. I went like it's automatic. Passing these niggas is tragic. Wearing all black with no magic. You just got green in your ice. They all stop checking the facts, so I just stopped treating them nice.
The following program is rated TV MANOC. It contains a big pair of nuts directly on your chin. It is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
The hell is this shit?
Obesity is epidemic in the United States and a major cause of death.
What is fat activism?
I, a fat person, am sharing my own lived experience.
Pizza is a vegetable.
Your fat phobia is your problem.
It is not my place as a smaller-bodied white man to comment on it.
Radical body positivity.
What can men do against such reckless hate?
There's only one man who can help me.
This is for you new people. I only have one rule. Everyone fights, no one quits.
This day we fight!
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing. Testicles, testicles. Welcome everyone to episode 3071 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beercast, broadcast, gamecast, mancast, Pimpcast, Sleazecast, and Slaycast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. What's going on, beaches, booshes, bustes, hustles, and yo hoes? It's your boy Papa Swole back with another episode. And today's episode of the Beastcast is brought to you, is powered, is sponsored by Eversyn K2, flexing on all you bees. All right, fam, make sure you drop the hashtag GTTFG, that's go to the fucking gym, GTTFG, in the comments for a chance to win today's Swole card. We'll give that away at the end of today's episode. And of course, make sure you check all the links down below to join the Swole fam over at swolenormousx.com, as well as merch over at papaswolio.com. That's where you can join the fam, get access to all of our programs, yoga, meditation, so much more, as well as pick up some new nip covers. Today, I'm rocking the world famous Optimus Pump design. I'm rocking the Optimus Pump t-shirt and fits great. Looks awesome. So if you're going to make some sick fucking gains, you may as well look good while you're doing it. And also, if you are listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, take a moment right now, pause the stream, and go and leave a 5-star review if you enjoy the show. And of course, share with your friends. Thank you so much for being here. Let's get into today's episode. Hashtag GTTFG for a chance to win today's Swole card. It's straightforward. It's simple. Go to the fucking shim. Go to the fucking gym. Go to the fucking gym because you should. Go to the fucking gym because you should. Let's get into that tip. Babe, just an inch. Just an inch. It's cold outside. Because you should. You need to go. Go now. I'll wait. Are you back? Good. Let's get into the first Swole fam post of the day. It's from Lacey. Lacey says, I woke up with the fire to go to the gym again. It's amazing what forced rest will do to a person. I'm ready to tear shit up. It's been a week. I felt like shit. Fighting cortisone effects, fighting some East Coast funk, gained 6 pounds of water. Blood sugar went nuts, but it's all back to normal now, including the water loss. Always stay the course and move forward. My luck, my body kept the water weight and dropped 6 pounds of muscle. I don't think so. It just dropped 4 pounds or 6 pounds of muscle. Mark showing us some delicious treats. Enjoying a nice bowl of cereal this Thursday evening. They're great. Hashtag where's the beef? Hashtag I found the beef. The beef get in my belly. This is what? Eggs, pickles, and beef. Eggs, pickles, and beef. Interesting combo. But the salt and the vinegar. I like pickles with my steak. I have it on the side. We have cheese and the fermented pickles. Fantastic. Love them. Melinda says, I caught up to the weekend show on Spotify. And if you haven't tuned in, you are missing out. Great message and bitchin' advice. Papa Swolio, don't take this too deep into your head, but you are the best. I'm grateful to be a part of the Swole fam. Hope everyone has a successful day.
Hi, puppy.
Well, thank you, Melinda. Appreciate it. And I agree. Make sure you check out those Swolosophy episodes on the weekend. Check out Sunday was great. Saturdays was great. So definitely get into those. The Sunday penetration called this past Sunday. So make sure you go check it out. It's a great way to stay focused over the weekend. And of course, make sure you respond to those Swole texts, because I go back and forth and I answer a lot of Swole texts. I do that all personally. So make sure that when you get a text, whether it's during the week or on the weekend, respond. And I'm usually sitting there for at least a few minutes to get back to as many people that respond. And I do the best I can to get back to everyone. So thank you, everyone, to responding for those weekend or any kind of Swole text that gets sent out. Of course, when you're a member, Swole text, you will get the alerts for the show, as well as one-on-one communication and inspiration and support, because I definitely reach out and want to help as much as I can to as many as I can. I know we get a lot of responses. We have a lot of people in the Swole fam, so I try to get back to as many as possible. So sooner the better. When you get a text, boom, jump on it. Nick says, what's up, Papa Swole? You'll finish my first week of Swole after the 90-day dash. I'm keeping active, going to parks and enjoying the Florida heat, being mindful of at all times of the food I put in my body, the fuel I put in my body. Struggle has been the diet. However, instead of eating shit, I just don't eat, which is causing joint pains. I also quit smoking weed, so this could be causing my lack of appetite and lack of joint pains. Instead of eating shit, I just don't eat, which is causing joint pains. Are you saying that you are not eating and that's causing joint pain, or the foods that you cut out were causing you joint pain. You quit smoking weed, so this could also be my lack of appetite and lack of joint pains. I get it. So you were using weed for joint pain, etc. But good for you. Good for you. This is an accountability text from over the weekend. Yeah, Florida, it's hot as hell. It's been brutal. Absolutely lights out hot as shit this past week. Hottest it's been all year. So hot. Temperature in the house. It's so hard to keep the house cool. And it's so fucking hot. So fucking hot. So the summer continues and rages on. All right, let's get into a couple email responses. Go to makeemailswoleagain.com if you are not on the email list. If you're not, that's silly. I bang your inbox with the same knowledge cock you get here on the show, and it's free. Go to makeemailswoleagain.com and sign up for the email list today. We got 2 responses today. The first one is responding to the best time to work out email from Dr. Kunal. Hey, Papa Swolio, personally, I like to work out in the early morning, sometimes early afternoon, before 12, and on a very few occasions in the evening. Keep motivating. I agree. Early morning's great. Personally, I usually do it. Lately, I've been doing it more like late afternoon because it's a little bit cooler. So by the time I want to get the show done, if it's 11, 12, oof, it's hot as hell. And I can do it. I definitely have no problem training in the heat, but a lot of times I'll wait a little bit and say, okay, let me eat, let me relax, let me just do it maybe 3, 4 o'clock, sometimes 5. But in the summer when it's light later, it's not as big of a deal. Usually I don't like to push it too much later than that, like, 3, 4 o'clock when I do in the afternoon. But yep, when you're training outside, you have other things to consider, not just the time, it's the temperature. And sometimes it's raining. So I'll wait and be like, after, not that I mind when it's raining, I have the canopies and stuff, but sometimes like, hey, I'll just wait. Weather says I'll stop in 20 minutes. Like, all right, I'll just chill for a little bit. Warm up. Why I don't train on a 7-day training cycle. Email response from Tanya. Tanya says, hey, Papa Swolio, still following the 90-day dash. I'm in week 7. Good for you. And I've said it before, but I can say it again. I do take extra days to recover. This is letting me get better at yoga, and it's almost 3 months of no injuries. I started 90-day dash in July, and here it is already October. I don't know when I'm going to finish the 90-day dash, but I do know I am going to finish it. Thank you for your constant knowledge and support. And that's great. And I've always said the 90-day dash, look, if you do the primer week for a month, it might be the, what we call it, 120-day dash. It doesn't really matter if you take extra recovery days or you do extra primer week or you go back to week 1 after you do the first 4 weeks. You don't want to go into the second phase yet. You repeat it. There's really nothing, there's no wrong way to do it because the 90-day dash is just your first 90 days. It's not 90 days. You have all the results that you want. It's just the beginning of your journey. So the whole point is to get you consistent and training consistently and learn how to get on a program and learn the proper foundations and have your body adapt to Swolga and to the stabilization and just general strength training and then take it from there. So it's really not about the 90 days. That's just the name. Rather than 94-day dash, it's obviously a lot sharper, and 3 months is something that's more bite-sized for people. But of course, our other programs can go 16 weeks or 20 weeks. Maximum Swole is indefinite, and you can always repeat these programs. You can do the 90-day dash over and over again. So there's nothing that's keeping you from doing the 270-day dash. There's nothing keeping you from doing the 90-day dash over and over and over again and just progressing it with weights and with difficulty. So that's totally fine. Good for you. Good for you. And that's what we go over in the master classes and stuff, and just make fitness more intuitive. Don't overcomplicate things. It's more about executing and getting stronger and getting better over time. It's not about finishing a program. A lot of people are always trying to look for the end goal and look for the end. But when you fall in love with the 7 pillars, and the reason why the 7 pillars are so powerful is that, and you can download them over at swolenormousx.com, is that every day there's the goal. Every day the end goal is to check off those pillars and to be successful. And the important thing to understand about these 7 pillars is that they always renew. The next day the sun rises, you have to focus on those things again. So it's not really about your weight loss goal or your fat loss goal or strength goals. That will happen if you execute these 7 pillars in the manner that will get you there. You work backwards and do the things you need to do day to day, but it's important to focus on what you can control today and doing today. So that's the goal. And the whole point is you should be doing it for much longer than 90 days. You should be doing it for the rest of your life. So good for you. Keep that in mind. Don't stress out about it, and make these programs and take these programs and take the 7 pillars and mold it so you can be consistent. So you make fitness yours. Remember, this is a part of your life. It's a foundational part of your life. And it's very important to understand that. Okay, let's get into some questions. Fam, get some gorillas here. It is hot, so I'm going to turn the fan on a little bit more. Oof, the AC. My goodness. Plus, I'm drinking the coffee and I'm wearing a t-shirt today. I need to get the tank top. Maybe I should free the nips. Fam, drop your questions in the comments, hashtag AskPapaSwolio. And if you want to call into the show, please call in. Go to AskPapaSwolio.com. You can record up to a minute and we'll feature your question on an upcoming show. So AskPapaSwolio.com to call into the show. Let's get into some Instagram questions and then live questions if you have them. All right. From Instagram, Hatskadam. Papa Swolio, do you like Bitcoin? I do like Bitcoin. I like Bitcoin very much. It is the hardest money ever created, and I actually do have a Bitcoin ticker over here, subtly in the corner, just so everyone is aware that it exists. We don't talk about it a lot. If someone asks a question, I'll answer it, but yeah, Bitcoin is the best place to store value. Period. The more you learn, the more it blows your fucking mind apart. It's hard to wrap your mind around it because it's so amazing. So yes, Daddy likes Bitcoin. Daddy likes Bitcoin very much.
What's in the box?
Zachary Krat. Papa Swolio, opinion on deadlifts. Well, there's different ways to do deadlifts. There's Romanian deadlifts. There's conventional. There's sumo deadlifts. So my question is in response to your question, of course. This is from Instagram, so you can't follow up on it. But it depends on the application. I think deadlifts is good for overall work capacity and for load. I think it needs to be modified for different people. That you could do it with a hex bar. You can do it raised on blocks. There's different ways to do it. I don't think they're for everyone, and I don't think they're for everyone's goals. I think a lot of people by default go to like the quote big 3: squats, bench, deadlift. That's fine. If you don't have a lot of equipment, you just have a barbell, you can make sick gains. I'm not saying deadlifts are bad. I actually did deadlifts for the vast majority of my lifting. I would say I did deadlifts as a foundational aspect of my training for probably 16 years. I mean, for well over half of my foundational, I was always doing deadlifts. And I've made more gains since I've stopped doing conventional deadlifts. I could still do them. I still do RDLs. So let me clarify. It's not like doing deadlifts is the only way to work these muscles. I still do hip hinges. I'll do 45-degree hyper deadlifts. I'll do hyper deadlifts with a band. I'll do RDLs. I'll do good mornings. I'll do, like I said, do RDLs. So I get my hip hinges in. The most important thing is to do a hip hinge movement, not necessarily a deadlift. I do think there are much better exercises. I mean, it depends on what you're doing it for. And oftentimes there's a better exercise because deadlifts are a lot of isometric and you're not necessarily targeting any one muscle in particular. So again, it depends on what you're training them for. There's training for strength, particularly there's training for power for a sport. There's training for bodybuilding, for hypertrophy. There's a lot of different ways to train. But one thing that I do see more often than not is people just don't have good form on deadlifts. And yeah, I mean, that's just a general, I don't really have an opinion necessarily. My opinion is based on what you're doing it for, is my point. So there's nothing wrong. There's really no wrong movement. It's only if you have good form, you're progressing it, consistently and safely and properly. But it depends on what you're doing it for. Danny Giangrasso. Papa Swolio, have you ever tried Dunkin' Donuts coffee? Have I tried it? Have I had Dunkin' Donuts coffee before? I have. I do not like it. I do not think it's good at all. I do not think Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts, they're anything very common with mass produced and, just not good. Not good. Let's see. Mark on Rumble. Mark, Papasoli, do you think last night's vice presidential debate was more calm, cool, and collected than the presidential one? I mean, it depends on how you mean that. I know what you said. A lot of people are saying, like, oh my God, the vice presidential debate was much more professional than the presidential debate. Well, that's because Kamala Harris is retarded. And she actually got under Donald Trump's skin a little bit, and rightfully so. I mean, but the thing is, people in the media are obsessed about how Donald Trump says things. Obviously, they lie incessantly about him. And it's just, I don't care. The results matter. The results matter. For everything he says that is stupid, he says a lot of really good things. He's very transparent about most things, and he gets the job done. So what I think J.D. Vance did very well last night was over and over again reinforce that, by the way, Kamala Harris is currently the vice president. The Democratic Party and the platform, if you've noticed, they've worked very hard to make it seem like she's running for president, but that she's not currently the vice president. They've tried to separate her from the Biden administration because it's been such a catastrophic failure. So what J.D. Vance did and should continue to do, and this is what Trump also did, was saying, like, what's she been doing? The reason why things are getting worse and worse when I get into office, you're in office right now. That's the point. You're there right now. You're in power. You're in the office. It's getting worse. The whole point of the issue is that you are terrible at your job. You don't know what you're doing, and everything is falling apart because you're currently in office. They try to separate her as if she's trying to get in. When I get in, you're there, dude. So calm, cool, and collected. I think it's just the different personalities. And I think that Waltz and that team was probably ready to pounce on JD. I think they were ready to go for the ad hominem attacks and stuff like that. But JD stayed away from going after all the lies. I mean, Waltz has been lying compulsively. Actually, I'm surprised that CBS called him out on that 1989 when he said he was like in Tiananmen Square, that blatant lie. Oh, I misspoke. Of course, you misspoke all the time. You just lie constantly. I misspoke. No, lying is not misspeaking. Like, you're speaking incorrectly. That's like, I misspoke. Oh, I just accidentally said I was somewhere when I wasn't. I accidentally lied. It's like, no. You said you were. I get it. These are old people and maybe it's like 40 years ago, but you don't lie about major events like that. So, J.D. Vance, I think, blew a lot of people's nips off because they've never really heard him speak. They're only hearing what the media tells them. Trump. And J.D. Vance is trying to, force young girls to have babies and all this stupid shit. J.D. Vance is brilliant. He's very, very smart and very, very successful. I mean, he's obviously a very intelligent person. And of course, the left wants to bring in some feeble old white dude with a haggard wife, and J.D. Vance is a handsome guy with a beautiful, successful wife. She's a corporate litigator. The left is dominated by jealous women. That's really what it's about. The liberals are just overwhelmed by jealous women. And the strangest thing is that this focus, this over obsession about abortion, which is weird because if your base is majority women, it's weird how the talking point and the argument is pro-abortion. You would think that if your voter base was majority women, you would think that they would want to protect as much as possible and facilitate having their babies. It's under the guise of pro-choice. It's my body, my choice. When in reality, it's this anti-natalist approach of abortion up into the date of birth. And J.D. Vance was absolutely correct with how that bill was written. That's not how it's written. It's written to give the doctors the option of not saving the baby. It's pretty fucking sick. But I do appreciate the fact that JD was talking about pro-family. I do think that's a better way to frame it because people have just completely bastardized. It's crazy how pro-life just gets demonized by the media, as if pro-life is designed to like destroy women. It's like we're talking about making sure that your babies are safe and promoting healthy families and stuff. It's just fucking, they're insane people. They're insane people. So it's unfortunate that the party that's dominated by women are fighting against their children, which is right. They're the ones that are transing their kids. They're the ones that are, with the puberty blockers, that side of the aisle, the left, Democrats, they're the ones that are destroying women. They're allowing men to play in women's sports. So this whole idea is my body, my choice. Like, we're pro, you're not pro women. You're actually destroying women. And that's the sinister side effects of feminism. So, it's just a weird thing. It's like a weird self-hatred, anti-life, guilt. It's this weird sickness. So in terms of calm, cool, and collected, I think and going back to your question, I think if JD went after the lies from Tim Walz, I think it would have gone back and forth. It would have gone into the gutter. So I think that was depending on if JD would hit below the belt, but he stayed away from any of the ad hominem attacks and just did well. I mean, I don't think Waltz did. I mean, I think he did terribly in comparison. I think it's very objective, and it's interesting watching the liberal media cope and try to like frame this for Waltz doing well. I mean, objectively, JD just destroyed in his presence and his aura and how he spoke and his articulation of the issues, addressing the points of, it was just very, very masterfully done. But again, just Tim Walz is a weak man. He's a weak man. I don't think he comes off as a mean person. He comes off as soft. He comes off as soft. He comes off as soft, just like Doug Emhoff, right? These like beta males. Just comes off as like a soggy potato. Maybe not an actively mean guy. I mean, he's sketchy as hell. He's sketchy. His excessive hand motions. It's just like a fake manufactured excitement and energy. It irks me. Like, I don't trust and his record is pretty poor too, with his stance on a lot of these issues. But in terms of how it looks to the outside, he probably did decent by most people's standards. But next to JD Vance, it was like, I posted this on X, next to JD Vance, it was like Michael Jordan in his prime playing with 8th graders. So it's just like when you step on the stage with someone like Vance, like that's a senator and a governor, it's big difference. Just big difference in terms of how, like, him as an individual. After all, he said he was friends with school shooters. Yeah, that was a bad slip up, but you know what's crazy about that? Obviously, he didn't mean to say that. I don't think he's friends with school shooters. Obviously, he meant to say he's friends with families and things like that. I'm assuming he didn't mean to say that. Let me put it that way. But imagine if JD Vance or Trump said that. The liberal media it'd be the next bloodbath hoax. It'd be the next, there's going to be a bloodbath. Economic bloodbath is an actual term. It's going to be one of those lies. Trump said he was friends with school shooters. Oh my God, he's Hitler. They would not shut up about it. So it's funny how when someone else, of course, people are going to talk about it on X, but it's more like a troll. It's funny. It's a funny slip up and it's a bad slip up, but it's obviously, I don't think anyone's taking it that seriously. But if it happened on the other side, the liberal media would be nonstop it'd be 24 hours a day. All right. Any other questions on that? Amanda Christina Roos, Papa Swolio, how do you help a loved one eat enough so they don't lose weight? How do you help a loved one eat enough so they don't lose weight? I mean, they need to be eating good quality food so they don't lose weight. If you're talking about someone who's anorexic, that's afraid to get bigger. I mean, first off, no matter who it is, they need to be lifting weights. So if you're lifting weights and building muscle, you're going to metabolize fat differently. They're going to be leaner. They're going to feel better. They're going to have more energy. So a lot of times lifting weights and getting on a good strength training program will solve any of those either hunger issues or fat loss issues. It's just what people are doing with their bodies or lack thereof, to be sure. Let's see. Feeman03, last chance for questions. Drop in the comments, hashtag AskPapaSwolio. Feeman03, advice for skinny beginners with low budget. Well, this is for, skinny beginners. Look, you have the opportunity to make some newbie gains, as everyone does. When you're first starting lifting, that's your opportunity to make the most gains because your body is new to all these stimuli. And as you get into the years of training, it's harder and harder to put on muscle just because your body gets more adapted to this environment. You just need to eat more food. Focus on proteins. With low budget, you got to eat proteins, whether it's eggs, beef, chicken. You just need to buy in bulk. You need to look for sales and specials. Go in with some friends and buy some bulk meat, something like that. But you need quality food. I'm not going to sit here and tell people to eat garbage and processed shit, but meat and rice is cheap. And everyone's different with rice or sweet potatoes. Good thing is that, sweet potatoes and rice, they're inexpensive. So they're very accessible, maybe 70 cents a pound, or you get 20 pounds of white rice for $5 or who knows nowadays, but they're much more affordable. Fruit, meat and fruit, fresh fruit, local, usually less expensive farmers markets. There's places to get quality food, but you need to be lifting heavy weights and eating enough protein. And, whatever your meat or protein of choice is, you need to eat sufficient amounts of it throughout the day and train hard and be consistent and try to raise that budget if food quantity is an issue, Yeah, Hog Wild, when money was tight, I'd crushed cans of tuna. Yeah, I used to eat tuna too, and yikes. Tuna is like in the cans, the BPA and the mercury and stuff, but just got to be careful with that. But I was doing that as well when I didn't have money when I was first bulking. So, but I didn't know any better. Not ideal, but best. Yeah, again, I agree. Hog Wild says not ideal, but bang for the buck. I agree. I wouldn't do it now, but I did it. Come on. Like, you get older, there's a lot of things you wouldn't do, but I would not recommend people go and do that tuna diet just for protein, even though it's the best bang for the buck. I think there's safer things to do. But of course, it's an option. Steph GZ, I want your hookup. I'm super lucky and get a tray of 30 organic free-range eggs every week for free. What the fuck? Hadouken! You son of a bitch. Good for you. Hayden Carney, Papa Swolio, is it better to eat more actual food or use supplements to get your daily calorie intake up? Actual food. So we're talking about calories, which means protein. We're not talking about creatine. We're not talking about glutamine. Those don't have caloric value. So it's definitely better to eat more actual food. However, having I use some grass-fed whey myself. It's not a bad thing. It can be a good option to get an extra protein in between meals because we've talked about this before. Is there a protein limit with how much you can eat at a meal? Yes and no. Everyone's the individual number, but it's probably somewhere between 30 and 50 grams at a sitting. But in reality, that's kind of like how much you're going to eat at a sitting. If you're only eating steak and you're carnivore, you're going to eat more in general. But then anything more than what you can actually utilize for protein in terms of that is going to be used for energy. So your body can only utilize in the moment so much protein and so many resources that you're consuming. So in general, this is why I always say one meal a day. I always say more meals is better because rather than eating 200 grams of protein at one meal, you're better off splitting that up on 4 or 5 smaller meals. So a 40-gram protein shake can be something that is useful. But the problem is a lot of these protein shakes have heavy metals. They have artificial sweeteners and aspartame, sucralose, and all these flavorings. So I get grass-fed whey, that's whey concentrate, unflavored, no soy, no sunflower lecithin. Nature Force is the brand on Amazon, and I like it. I don't have any issues with it. But it's always better. You get more quote unquote information. You get more micronutrients from actual food than, because, even grass-fed whey concentrate, it's still processed. It's not processed in the same thing as like vegetable oils and all these other ingredients, but it still is processed and broken down. So you're not getting all the micronutrients that you're getting in from steak, for example. But of course, 40 grams of protein from steak is going to take up more stomach space, could take you more time to consume, and more accessible. So I wouldn't be consuming like 200 grams of protein just from shakes. Maybe use that in the morning or after a workout. If you're driving home, I would make sure you have something, for example, in between. That'd be a good option there. And sometimes around a workout or in the morning, you don't want to be drinking a protein shake before you train, but after, some people feel a little bit nauseous, so they're trying to eat a full meal. So they rather have a shake within, half an hour or within a half an hour. There's not necessarily an anabolic window, but I mean, my take on it and say the anabolic window is a myth. Yeah, but after a workout, I want to consume something as soon as possible because I'm ravenously hungry and you're done working out. It's time to eat. Just because the anabolic window might not be an actual thing. It's like eat after your workout. Like just fucking eat. You should be eating. You should be hungry enough to eat. I want to eat the world. So that's a good time to have something like that if you don't want to sit down and have a huge meal. Or if you're driving home, maybe it's half an hour home from the gym, you may as well have a shake on your way home. And then half an hour later, you're going to be hungry and you can eat again. El Cervantes, Papa Swolio, how to get the skin back. Whoa. You got no skin? I was 550 pounds, lost 250, don't look that fat. Congratulations on the weight loss. I have no idea what you mean. Don't look that fat? I don't know what you mean. You have loose skin? That's surgery, dude. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm not sure what you're asking, to be honest, but I'm assuming how to get the skin back, like the extra skin that most people would have if you're 550 pounds and you lost 250. That's more than I weigh. You lost more than a Papa Swolio. You lost over a Papa Swolio. That's so good for you, first off. I mean, wow. But I don't know exactly the question you're asking. But if you have that much loose skin, that's going to be surgery or not, or you just get used to having it. It's unfortunate. It's got to be uncomfortable to have that much extra skin. And it's got to be, psychologically, it doesn't look good. But at the same time, it's also a memory of where you've came from. And it's not like it's bad for your health to have that extra skin as long as you're cleaning yourself and you're not, getting mold or mildew under your skin folds. But, it's kind of, that's what happens. You gain tons of weight. It's like, that's the side effect, but surgery can help it go away. I mean, surgery will get rid of it. But that's not free. Umar Raymond, Papa Swolio, what are your favorite foods to eat after a workout? Steak, I'll eat a meal, or I'll have a shake, coconut water, watermelon, honey, fruit, bananas. I'll eat everything I can see. Sometimes I'll have a meal ready. Sometimes I'll have a shake. But if I'm training later in the day, like 4:30, sometimes we're cooking steaks and I'll just have some carbs. I'll have like some coconut water or eat some watermelon, and then we'll have our steak and stuff. So if it's really close to actual eating, I'm not going to have like a protein shake. I'll just wait for the meat. I mean, the same foods I'll eat after workout, the same foods I'll eat earlier in the day or other times. So the beauty about the elimination diet, eating quality foods, is I don't limit what I'm eating. Because if anything, I'm trying to put on muscle. So I don't really care so much about my body fat percentage. I'm not trying to lean out. I'm trying to get stronger and build muscle. So I have the foods that work best for my body. And then I just eat to my satisfaction. But I focus on proteins for the most part. I try to focus on protein primarily. All right. Any other questions? No? Balls deep. That's deep. It certainly is. It certainly is. All right, let's get into some videos. Who's ready? Pick a number 1, 2, or 3. Pick a number 1, 2, or 3. While you're voting, Your Mom's House 1992. Papa, what do you think about the carnivore doctors who say that all sugar is bad no matter where it comes from? Oh, that's silly. I think that's silly. No matter where it comes from? Like fruit? Fruit's bad for you? You can't convince me of that. I think that's silly. I think anyone who's, I think the carnivore diet is great. I think it's just a shorter term thing. I think it's something that's great if you have a lot of, and some people can maintain that longer than others, but I think it's something that is great in terms of an elimination diet. Whether you do it for 2 months or 3 months, I think if you have a lot of autoimmune issues, I think people should be going carnivore. Just my opinion, because that's going to take you down to like the base level. And if you have a lot of if you have a lot of skin issues and Tourette's and just, all these neurological, if you have a lot of issues, I think going to the basics is the best thing to do, and then implementing one at a time and then seeing what you like to add. Because I've done carnivore. I had my energy was, I've done keto. I need carbs. So I find that meat and fruit, it's great. I can handle some white rice. I don't eat tons of it all the time. I might have like a little bit every day or with dinner a little bit, but I'm not pounding as much as I used to. And how we make it is a lot different than we did. We wash it a lot more. Makes a huge difference with how we're, preparing the white rice. So it feels a lot different. If it didn't feel good for me, I wouldn't consume it. But fruit's great. Fruit's great. Meat and fruit primarily. Sheena Monroe, number 2. Now that she's thin.
What's in the box?
Question. How the interactions with people now that you're thin? You can't spell your. It's a conjunction. Apostrophe R-E, you twat. How are your interactions with people now that you're thin? Can you imagine obsessing over your weight that much? My God. Such insecure people. Shameful.
I'm somebody who spent most of my childhood and into early adulthood.
That's a 12 head.
Being skinny or society's ideal body type. So
okay, Rihanna.
When I started to gain weight and when I got up to my highest weight, I was honestly shocked at how cruel the world became, particularly men.
Okay, when people say that how cruel the world became, oftentimes your lens that you look through is because you hate yourself. So everything gets darker. You don't respect yourself. You don't look good. You don't take care of yourself. You obviously don't look like you take care of yourself. Men aren't going to be as attracted to you. So the whole world gets a little bit more gray because you're eating garbage, right? This is what depression essentially is when people have, suffer from quote unquote depression. It's like there's no color in the world. You just feel numb and like just bleh, everything is gray. So if you're eating garbage, you're going to feel psychologically bad. You're going to look bad. You're going to hate yourself. You're going to resent yourself. And it's going to portray, and everything that you see around you is going to be like from a negative viewpoint.
I didn't feel like a human anymore.
I'm just stopping this. I didn't feel like a human anymore. So if you don't feel like a human, what do you think? You're an alien? You don't feel good about yourself. You hate yourself. Obviously, you're not going to perceive the world as bright and sunny and everyone's so nice and this is so wonderful. Okay.
I felt like all my worth.
I felt like this. I felt like this. Again, her. It's not that everyone was treating her badly. She treated herself badly and she felt. Again, feelings are subjective. It's in your head. And I'm not saying this to be cruel to her. I'm just saying objectively, it's like, this is just, you're talking about your feelings only. Your actions, you ate like shit, you got fat, and your feelings sucked. No surprise there.
Everything that anybody ever thought about me was based off of how I looked, like my weight, how big I was. Like they couldn't see past that, and there were assumptions and stuff that came with that. I also feel like when I was thinner and that's associated with being prettier and then you're falling into society's definition of beauty, that I was just a lot more privileged in the most random ways. And I know a lot of people can relate to that. I've heard of a lot of people relating to that. Now being thinner again and actually being seen again and
being seen again, I'm telling you, like these words are just, this is like the most Marxist, like it's just word salad. Any way to play the victim. This is the victim mentality. Hurts. It hurts to listen to it. I know.
Treated like I'm a real person with real feelings.
You being treated like I'm a real person. Again, nonsense.
It almost makes me angry because I deserved that at any size. I deserved that when I was bigger. I deserve it now, and it breaks my heart for other people that go through the same thing. Like you just feel so dehumanized.
That's yourself. You're dehumanizing yourself because
It's like I'm finally worthy of people's time and respect because I'm thinner.
No, you hate yourself. If you eat yourself into obesity and you trash your body, you hate yourself. You're hating yourself. You're punishing yourself. You don't love yourself. You hate yourself. So you go from hating yourself to taking care of yourself. And you're like, oh my God. People, no, you hated yourself. You're showing everyone that you hate. When you don't take care of yourself, you are telling the world, but above all you're telling everyone, I hate myself. Look, I'm trashing my body. I don't give a fuck about what happens when you have a car, right? And you have, let's say you're driving around, you have bird shit all over it. You never wash your car. Not that you have to obsess about your car, but like you don't take care of it at all. It looks like fucking garbage. You don't fix it. You don't take it to the mechanic. You never change the oil. It's just like it's like a Flintstone car. Would you say that person cares about their car? No. No, they don't care about their car. And I'm not saying that you have to obsess and wax the wheels, but you see people out there, and I always talk about this, people that take care of their cars more than their body. They're out there polishing and washing. Does that person care about their car? Yeah. Now there's some people that just wash their car. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with washing your car. I've washed many of my car, I've done a lot of washes in my days. But the people there's different levels of it. Like you wash your car because you want to get the, for the paint and the resale value. And like, it's a thing that you bought. So you're just maintaining it. But there's people that get in there detailing and like, the wheels, and they gloss the wheels, and that person really cares about their car. It's like objective. Like, do you take care of the thing or not? And with your body, it's very obvious whether you take care of it or not. Do you take care of yourself? Yes or no? And it's just true. It's true. But the thing is, it's not the other person is just seeing what you put out in front of them. And this is not about being superficial. This is just about cause and effect. So if I see someone that's morbidly obese, the first thing that pops into my head isn't like, wow, this person really cares about themselves and takes care of their body. That's not at all, because it's not true. So it's just common sense. Okay, let's do, why men like thick women. Now, thick obviously is being used to justify people being fat. Thick is not fat. Thick is fat. But let's.
Why they prefer thick.
On why a certain genre of men like extremely thick, curvy women.
Ladies, do not get lip filler. It does not look good. I don't know what women. This is why these Snapchat filters, killing women. Like the lip filler, these injections. Yeah, Sheena just says, I hate the lip. It is awful. I've never seen no dude ever looks at a woman's like, oh my God, her lips are so full. I love that collagen just like pumped up and looking like two fucking sausages on her face. It's disgusting. This woman looked like a freak. Okay, continue.
So, women are beautiful in all shapes and sizes, but there is a genre of men that particularly prefer thick women. And they are usually men with less resources. I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's just the truth. And those men are always looking for the thicker, the better, especially in certain areas. So I think that they like...
God, the only thing worse than her lips is her voice. No men are looking at no men are looking at lip fillers and being like, oh yeah, I'd love to see those on my dick. No. It's got to be natural. Dudes are just not into it's gross looking.
It because it goes back to the caveman days. Men that could not get enough resources would want the bigger, the larger person. So
God, you can't even make eye contact with the camera.
That they see that they can feed themselves, that they can maybe even provide for them. So the thicker the better, because basically it means that she feeds herself and I don't have to feed her and she gets it herself.
Oh, what?
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Okay, hashtag GTTFG for a chance to win today's Swole card. I know not what she says. It doesn't make sense for a reason. Silliness and nonsense. All right, we got one more. Oh, it's this clip? Wait, maybe I didn't see this one yet. Oh, we got a clip from, oh my God, MSNBC after the debate last night. Let's play this. I'll remove the bottom bar. This is from MSNBC, so you've been warned. A clip from the fakest of all the fake news. I think MSNBC is probably the worst. What's worse than MSNBC? Media Matters? Like, what's the most liberal fucking rag? Probably MSN, at least that people are more aware of. MSNBC is probably the worst, I would say.
Like muting powers. And I actually think if you're a woman, that might be the worst moment J.D. Vance had, because he was going to mansplain right over that mute button. He was, and again, I don't pretend to know how everyone will react to this. I think that a lot of women in positions of authority that should command respect just by virtue of that dynamic will see themselves in some dude that disrespected them and talked over. I mean, there was a moment like that with then vice presidential in the Harris Pence debate where she's.
You don't think that they put female moderators there for a reason? It's not an accident. Why do you think there's 2 female moderators? It's these fucking DEI hires. They didn't really do a great job. It was pretty cringe. But look, if you put women in positions of, quote, power, you put women, more often than not, there are the rare few. It's just the statistics. They're the rare few that are able to that are able to command a room, that are able to instill some sort of like inspiration. Not a lot. It's just evolution. And it was pretty cringe. Most people, including women, don't want to hear other women talk. They just don't. The voices are grating, reminds them of their mother. It's just like, it's piercing. It's just piercing. It hurts my ears for the most part. And yeah, it's really not, and it's not misogyny. It's just reality. I'm just not afraid to say it. And most logical, rational women would agree. They don't want to see, women trying to be, girl boss or to strong arm situations, because it really comes off as naggy. So I think this was all part of the structure. They tried to cut off the mics and they try to have all these rules, but then they go to fact check and they break the rules, and then, this, that, and the other. And like, hey, your mic's muted. That's because they can't hear you at home because your mics are muted. Everyone's just like, ugh. Take these things personally. You need some testosterone there. If you want someone to command a room, if you want strength, you bring in some men. Not that they would do better on, the beta network of MSNBC. But it was hard to watch. It was hard to watch and not enjoyable from that. But I think it was planned. That's a great talking point. Because J.D. Vance wiped the floor with Walz objectively. Now, I don't really care what your thoughts are on the policy issues, but in terms of a debate, in terms of like who quote unquote won and came across as, the superior politician, my God, J.D. Vance just destroyed. Like, what a well-spoken, articulate dude. So, oh yeah, he was mansplaining because they lied. They quote fact-checked and they were incorrect in terms of how people become, or get that kind of residency. And he was explaining, and they're like, thank you. We understand how the laws work. What Vance was doing was explaining, hey, illegal criminal aliens come in and just like fill out an app and be like, hey, I'm here now. He was explaining how easy it is for people just to break into the country and then have like some legal residency temporarily. He was explaining how much of a joke it is. And this is the problem. This is the problem with female leadership, especially in this election. You cannot, exactly, some people, you can't fix the economy with feelings. This is why I like forward, move it forward. You're in office right now. So you can't fix the economy with feelings. You're not going to stop these wars with feelings. You're not going to fix any of these issues because, oh, we want people to feel better about themselves and to feel better about their gender identity or whatever the fuck it is. You're not going to solve these rational, legitimate, structural issues with this bullshit rhetoric. You need action. You need a plan. And the left has none because they don't want a plan. The whole principle of leftist politics is deconstructionist. It's breaking down existing systems, change for the sake of change. And that's not going to solve the problem. There are a lot of these structures in place. That's why they want to pack the cord. That's why they want to abolish the electoral college. And that might seem radical, but it's a lot more mainstream on the left than you might think. They want to erase the definitions of men and women. They want to blur the lines with everything because then there's no rationality. There's no right and wrong. There's no morality. And then everything can be manipulated because power is power. If we have control, we're going to keep control and we're going to change definitions and change and manipulate everything in order to maintain power. That's all it is. So it's not for the victim class. It's not for the oppressed. It's for a new class of people to rise up and to steal power and repress everyone else. So it's not about fighting for oppression or for people that have less. It's about them getting power and stepping on the fucking necks of everyone else. It's about gun control and gun violence. Not for them. They want their guns. They just don't want you to have them. Let's take some responses on what I just said from women. Okay? So anyone that's thinking, oh my God, he said those things. I didn't say anything crazy. I love women. Mama Swolio's the best. The problem is women are emotional. They're not rational. Very few have like that rational vein and they can think objectively. It's just not a common thing for most people, especially females. And it's just evolved that way. Sheena says, I didn't watch it because I knew it wasn't going to be a fair debate and wouldn't impact how I'm going to vote. Cerny, women are too emotional. Your mom's house. I don't want another woman telling me what to do. Cerny, can't run a country with emotions. Sheena, I don't want to see stupid women try to make me feel inferior by actually thinking for myself. The opinion that women only vote for Trump because they hate themselves is laughable. Yeah, it's crazy. So at least, voting for Kamala Harris and the hardcore pro-abortion train is because they love themselves, right? You see that double standard? It's like, I love myself. It's pro-choice. It's pro-choice. It's medical. What do they call it? Not medical freedom. What's the other grifting term? What's the other bullshit whitewash term? You know, it's like, you mean killing babies. Call it what it is. Call it what it is. It's under the guise of autonomy and believe women. I'm always right. Are you serious? Remember Waltz last night. Believe women. What does that mean? Believe irrationality. Just believe emotion. Does no one else think that it's absolutely ass backwards twisted that the majority of the party, that's women, are fighting so hard for, quote, pro-choice, for like rights for abortion as far as they want it up to 9 months? That's legit. Where does it end? Who cares if it's 20 weeks or 30 or 25 weeks? It's like they want this is my bodily autonomy. What the fuck are you talking about? They're fighting. They can move. You can move to a place where if you want to kill your babies, it's like, that's sick. You can go to fucking Portland, go to New York, go to California. That's the whole thing with overturning Roe v. Wade. It was a bullshit decision. It should be by the states. This isn't a democracy. It's a constitutional republic. And the states have the right, the voters in the states. People live, it's a community. And I agree 100% with what J.D. Vance was saying, and people do not understand how this country is run. It's not a democracy. It's a constitutional republic. There's different states. These states kind of, are governed. That's why we have a governor. That's why you have senators that represent the people in a federal government. But we have local municipalities with the people locally that vote for local laws in their state, in their county, right? In their city. So if you like the laws in Florida and how things are run, guess where you move? To Montana. No, you go to fucking Florida. You move to the place, right? Oh, I like the beach and I like the things over here. I love the weather and I like the people. Then move there. And that's where you live. And then you're around people that agree with the same things as you do. The audacity that Florida should live like Kansas or Illinois, or that New York should live like Arizona. It's just fucking insane. Completely different people, completely different cultures. You know, when you have like the history, less so now when you're just importing the third world, but different accents and dialects and, you know, just different weather, just different layout. Things are different if you're in a small state that's wedged in between a few cities like Delaware and just the open plains of like Idaho. It's a completely different thing, right? You're in Idaho driving for like 100 miles and there's nothing around you. You're going to want a fucking firearm. Like, there's a reason why you have these laws, because you're going to be hunting. You need rifles. Oh, how come kids, it says 16 can have a firearm or under 14? It's because kids been hunting with their parents. You go out with your father hunting for hundreds of years to get food. You know, there's bear, there's moose. People don't understand the wilderness. There's so much shit out there that can kill you. When you live in the city, it's just other people. So I don't want them to have guns. It's scary. Guns aren't just to protect you for other people. They're to protect, you know, your rights and freedoms from a tyrannical government, which are people. Okay, so when you're packed in like sardines, people are the scary ones. But when you're in the wilderness, it's bears, it's mountain lions, it's, you know, moose, it's all these fucking bears. Did I say bears? Sheena, girl quote bosses always act like assholes trying to prove themselves. When you're confident in who you are, you don't have anything to prove to anyone. Your work ethic speaks for itself. When you are weak physically and or have low self-esteem, which a lot of people do, including women, you act in terms that you overact and you respond as a response to fear. And this is the problem with having a weaker emotional president or something like that, like Kamala Harris. And it's just going to be fast track to war because you want to prove yourself. It's exactly correct. Cerny says they want World War III, in my opinion. I think they are absolutely trying to start it as quick as possible. I think they know that the ship is sinking. Trump's gonna smoke in the election if they can't steal it. And they're trying to start the war that Trump is going to inherit. They're trying to ramp it up and get these contracts or get in so deep in the next couple months that Trump is going to have a hard time pulling out. And then they're going to move to try to like maybe, you know, do something in 2028, but get this going. So like, you know, yeah, reproductive rights. That's the grift. Reproductive rights. You do have reproductive rights. Close your fucking legs. Make better choices. Don't be a whore, right? Ladies, if you don't want to have a child, don't open your fucking legs to every single person. Don't go out clubbing and sleeping with 30 fucking guys on Tinder. That's a great way to not get pregnant. Now, I do think, right? Rape, incest, like those kinds of, like that's sick. I mean, I really do not think if a woman gets like raped, but if a woman gets raped, that's fucked up. To force her to say like you can't, that's you know, it's really hard for me to understand how that's debatable. Like, you know, I get it. You know, I'm not saying it's not life, but that's pretty fucked up. But what is also fucked up if you get raped and then you wait like 8 months, like, no. Like if you're going to wait 6, 7, 8 months, like your time has passed. Like you handle that right away, you know, like there's a limit. You can't just do it whenever. Yeah, Elizabeth says, believe women when they lie about being raped. Eye roll. Right? That's the crazy thing. Like these statements where you just say, believe women. what does that mean? Notice how no one says believe men. I don't even say that. It's not like believe women. That's stupid. But saying believe men would just be equally as stupid. It'd be equally as dumb. It doesn't, like, what does that even mean? But this is the grift they're trying to set up. So like, if any time you talk about a woman, like, right, it's mansplaining. Let's play this video again with how sick it is.
Like muting powers. And I actually think if you're a woman, that might be the worst moment J.D. Vance had, because
the worst moment.
He was going to mansplain right over that mute button.
He's going to mansplain. You mean cut them off because they lied? Cut them off? Oh, you said you were going to fact check J.D. Vance, correct? And he explained. Okay? It's not mansplaining just because they're women. In other words, then get fucking women out of these positions. Then don't bring in mansplain. I really do think that's the only reason you had female moderators. Why would you have, tell me, why would you have 2 female moderators? And I'm just saying, why would you have 2 female moderators for 2 men on stage? I'm just asking. No misogyny. I'm asking you objectively. Why do you think, aside from if anyone talks over and gets out of line, that's the leverage? It's going to make someone, it's going to make him look bad, because they probably assumed J.D. Vance was going to do it, if anyone was going to do it. Because, Waltz is not a strong dude. It's like a setup, right? Well, if he cuts off, then we can play this angle like, oh my God, he talked over a woman. How dare he? How dare he? Get the fuck out of here. He's mansplaining. That was really tough for women. Anyone that saw that is like, oh my God, he overtalked. That's a weak liberal woman. No woman got offended by him stepping in and righting the situation. And he should have done that if they were male. Again, that's what I'm saying. Why would they have 2 female moderators? With the presidential debate, it was, right? ABC, it was a disaster, but it was 1 male, 1 female. Because it was Trump and Kamala. Like, what's the reason? DEI, you're trying to show how progressive you are. I'm not saying those women don't work hard, this and the other, but man, it was really hard to watch. It was hard to watch for many reasons. Yeah, Elizabeth says the guy moderator in the presidential debate, he was still a pussy. Yeah, that was bad. That was bad. But that's my point. I'm not saying that it would have been better. But I'm just saying, like, if you're looking at the framing, quick to jump on, say, the mansplaining bullshit, I really do feel like the reason is to have that out, or that, like, to get that clip of like, oh, a woman was talking and he wanted to keep on talking. Oh, he talked over her. Yeah, well, when you say something stupid, you should. So, you're trying to be, when you can't, you're not going to have, when you have a strong assertive man, it's not going to have, like Sheena says, you can't be a strong assertive man and be a liberal. It's, of course, you absolutely cannot. You really cannot. So when you see strength, when you see a man be a man and step in and be like, and very respectfully too, he's just like, I'm going to make sure and clarify what you said, and that you said you weren't going to fact check. You just did, and that's incorrect. In other words, he was explaining there's just an app. You just, you're here now. It's pretty bad. Big rift. All right, let's give away today's Swole card. Hashtag GTTFG. Thanks for being here. Let's give it away. What we got? Oh, we got a winner. Today, it's in the Telegram chat. It's Diego Mueller. Congratulations. Diego. Congratulations. Send us an email to support@swolenormous.com. Swole card 3071, the subject, your mailing address in the body, the email. Fam, before you leave, Make sure you leave a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcast. Hit the thumbs up button if you're watching on Rumble. It helps tremendously. Make sure you do so, and we'll see you tomorrow for 3072. Go to swolenormousx.com to join the fam, and check out the 20% off all new releases over there at papaswolio.com. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace, McGee's, deuce, magoose, ya boy, Papa Swolio, out.
Crazy flow, need a straight jacket. Cash flow, I'm a bank addict. 6 subs, had the bass smacking. 808, had the place clapping. 3 girls is enough for me, so I pull out like the stock crashing. Like an IPO, trying to purchase me. This a private sector, so you can't have it. Faking all that boom bapping. Who you think you is, boy? 90s want they sound back, so I give rap all these fake rappers as I take matters in my own hands. I don't need rapping, I don't need Zans. I don't need help, I'm a grown man. Now they can't laugh and they so mad, it's like
Then yeah, I found that young king with my crown at 10 racks in the fanny pack, couple hundred in the Louis bag.
that's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you laid. That's a bed that you laid. What kind of game is you playing? We go hard in the paint you. What the fuck is you saying? I only go where they pay. What kind of game is you playing? Yeah, whoa, my shit is relevant. On topic, my melanin is popping. I'm taking skeletons on closets and making new deposits. I'm in